to call this meeting to order for the Board of Trustees of the School District of Mystery Lake for Tuesday, October the 11th. Call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. I need a motion for approval of the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda before you? Okay, if not, I'd like a motion to accept the agenda. Trustee Oliveira, seconded by Trustee Land. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The motion is carried. Adoption of the minutes from the last meeting on, when was the last date of the last meeting? 27th. Are there any errors or omissions in those minutes from the previous meeting? Okay, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes as circulated. Can I get a trustee Lychuk, seconder, trustee McDonald, all in favor of the motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting? All in favor, opposed if any, the motion is carried. Delegations, oh, sorry. Oh yes, pardon me, I failed to mention that we have regrets from two trustees, Trustee Tucker and Trustee Fitzpatrick, okay? Moving on to delegations, our delegation isn't here at the moment, so we'll give them a few more minutes and then we'll move on. Business from the previous board meeting. We had a request for a tour to England. I think it's 2017, I believe. Okay, and we were asking for further information at our last board meeting. And I believe further information has been submitted in the package that the trustees have before them. So if there are any more questions about this trip to England, which is scheduled for, I believe, the spring of 2017. Okay, are the questions that the trustees had the last time satisfactorily answered, or do they have further questions?
I think I thought we were going to have, as we had in the past, a presentation potentially. I feel like we had that before, but maybe that's after we approved it. I'm not sure.
Usually after.
Has been after.
Because I looked at the information, it didn't look like a lot more information than what I had in the first place.
The questions that came up last time were amount of students. The information on the actual field trip request was wrong. I don't know.
Complete, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it had 4 and 4. That's not the case.
So the number of students you were asking, yeah?
Yeah. I think
And the clarity of the brochure
yes.
was.
And you asked to have the link sent. She wasn't able to do that. I know the brochures.
It was scanned.
It was
A better
scanned.
readable
Yeah, it's a little better than what it was, but I know that the requirement. I mean, you can go on EF tours. This whole thing will be explained to you if you're interested in that. I know she tried to attach the link, but she wasn't able to.
Okay, so if we approve in principle, then we will be able to have a presentation at a later time, which we've done before in the past. Is that okay with Trustee
Yeah,
Land?
I think in this particular case, I think the trip is, they're looking at the spring of 2017.
I
And I
believe
seem
so.
to recall we've had some of these conversations up to 2 years in advance. So this is no less a trip than those other ones. That timeline seems really tight for us to say anything other than yes. And I'm not sure if I'm going to say yes today, but that's all.
Yeah, sometimes trips are a year in advance, for sure, definitely. We've seen that before. Okay, other trustees? Comments from other trustees about this particular request? We do have two trustees who are not here this evening, so you can always table it for another couple of weeks if need be.
Yeah, that doesn't really advance things, though.
No, it doesn't, doesn't.
Like, until we know how many students are interested in going, there's no way of knowing if the trips will go or not.
No.
Yeah, I was
And until they've got conditional approval, they're not going to know who's interested in going. So,
Again, you're just approving this trip in
In principle,
principle. Yeah.
right.
Okay,
so, I
So
mean,
if things don't pan out or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean.
Okay.
But I think that
we need those details quick. Like, really, if we approve it in principle, we probably need pretty quickly in terms of real dates and real.
I've got the 19th till the 30th of April.
But no number of students.
No number of students. I think she was looking at
number of
approximately.
students and number of chaperones are actually the key thing, and until they've got approval in principle, they're not gonna.
Right, have the meeting and get. I talked to her. So she I think it was upwards of a dozen, or 24, or 12 females, 12 males, like she was looking at about 24 kids trying to, I mean, whether that split is exactly right down the middle with 12 girls and 12 boys, but.
So are we wanting them to make a presentation to us fairly quickly after approval in principle, like within a month or so?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so a motion, then could somebody make a motion about this trip? Okay,
Principle, yeah.
okay, trustee Olivera, seconder, trustee McDonald, all in favor? Opposed, if any, the motion is carried, and we'd like to see Ms. Halco presenting to us within the next month about some details about this trip. And, okay, moving along to Superintendent of Human Resources and Policy, Ms. Bartlett.
Hi, yeah, I provided you with a written report. Again, there's a number of educational assistant positions were posted and awarded. I was in attendance at, I mean, it's all written down, a number of community events and things related here at the board office. Professional development, school administrators and the leadership intern group attended a 2-day workshop entitled Supervision of Staff. I attended for 1 day of that workshop. It was extremely well received, this workshop. The topics included supervision and evaluation and what the differences of those two roles are. Responsibilities and challenges of supervision, the difference between misconduct and simply poor performance. Preparing for supervisory conversations. The gal who did the who facilitated this was actually a trainer for Crucial Conversations, which was really interesting, and had a very neat way of framing how you would start these kind of conversations that can be and do get uncomfortable. Yeah, so again, everybody in attendance it was extremely well received. The feedback was really great, and I think they just kind of left wanting more of that type of professional development. This particular professional development session was organized during my absence by Ms. Brown, so I just want to say thank you to her for doing that and continuing on with getting the professional development organized for the leadership intern group. So.
I have a question, Angela. How many are in that leadership group?
There are 8,
Okay,
I believe.
okay. And they're progressing along with courses, et cetera, eh?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure, and I need to talk to Ms. Brown about how many actual professional development days, PD.
Okay,
Yeah, it was, I think when the program was developed, it was, I believe there was a professional development day, full day, scheduled for every month. I think there were 8 of them.
Okay.
I think we didn't do it in December and maybe not right in September, but I can't recall right off the top of my
but
head.
there's 8 administrators in that group.
Yeah, 8 interns. Don't quote me on that.
Interns, okay.
I can't quite recall, but I think
That's
there's
good.
approximately 8.
They're moving along through their program.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Okay, thank you. Any questions for our superintendent of human resources? No? Okay, we'll move right along to the superintendent of educational services and programming, Ms. Henderson.
Okay, on page 21, I see I don't have a heading on there, I
I didn't
apologize.
sign your name either, but I knew it was you.
Because I was away. And I just wanted to provide a verbal report, but I did need to put this one in writing because I am looking for a recommendation from the board. So I think that you've all had a chance to probably read the information, although I will apologize, when you scan a document that large, it tends to have a bunch of other things in between. I scanned it twice, so I apologize for that. But basically, the hub project was a proposal through the Mama Utak Friendship Center, and it's a risk-driven collaborative community program that the Friendship Center has received funding. They started back in June with the information sessions and now are looking for a commitment from the partners. We've been invited to sit on the steering committee. And the piece that I want to bring forward to the board is we need to commit one person and an alternate to be a part of this program. And it is a huge time commitment. It's at least once a week. And then there's follow-ups to the meetings, to the situation tables, depending if we'd be involved in those situations. So at this time, I've put the 2 names of the people. I've had a chat with each of them, and they're willing to do the training, because there's 15 hours of online training that they would need to take part in. So I'm asking the board to accept the recommendation to support the hub project, permitting that the project is meeting the needs of our students and families, and that the staff time commitment is reasonable. And I know that the Friendship Center is waiting patiently for a response, because they'd really like to get going. They'd like to have this off the ground running by the new year, if not sooner.
So is the time commitment exactly as it is described here, like 1 day a week
They will come together 1 day a week, and then,
for the whole day?
no, for 1 hour. The
That's
table.
way better than 20% of someone's life.
But, there's always a but. Depending on what is brought to the situation table, it may require more of our time. In the long run, if this runs the way it should be running, I think it would be a time saver for us, because we'd be actually working with the people who need to be involved, and we wouldn't be having to do all the work ourselves.
Is that also tied, I think it's tied to the role for potentially the alternate as well? And it's in here, so I don't know, I'm not saying names, because you didn't say names.
Yeah.
But one of the roles, I think that is her work, right? Well, probably.
Well, both of them.
Agree,
Right, so that's why they were identified, because that's what they do. But I think a lot of times that they come across situations where they need outside community support, so having everybody at the situation table just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Collaboration. It's
Totally about
kind of
that.
wraparound approach.
Yeah, it's totally about those 2 things. Lori and I were at the presentation on September 30th at the Friendship Center, and the Friendship Center is the hosting organization in charge of organizing and coordinating the whole thing, and it's about working smarter with your partners. And for the school district not to be part of this would make no sense, because all the families that we would be seeing would more than likely have school-age children, so it's totally a no-brainer for all kinds of different reasons, so. Anyway, okay, so do you want to pass a motion about this? Lori? Where's my little sheet here? Okay, the motion is that the board accepts the recommendation to support the hub project, permitting that the project is meeting the needs of our students and families, and that the staff time commitment is reasonable. Can I get a mover for that? Trustee Lychuk, seconder trustee Land, all in favor? Okay, opposed if any, the motion is carried. So we can take that back to them tomorrow, they'll be happy to hear that.
Okay, so in there, you also saw a letter addressed to myself. You see, dear Ms. Henderson, and it's an invitation to speak. We've been identified as a leader in Aboriginal education, so we've been invited to speak at the Indigenous Blueprint Table, which is a collaboration between the post-secondary institutions in Manitoba. So November 1st and 2nd, we've been invited to the round table along with myself. They want the district, what we're doing around Aboriginal education in the district. So we have a lot to share. But they've also invited Kathleen Kelson to speak to the group on community schools and the pre-bilingual program. And they've also invited Ryan Barker to speak to the Educating for Action. So they will cover the cost of our travel for the trip. So that's November 1st and 2nd. I had a chance to, I've had a lot of meetings around early literacy and intervention, literacy, numeracy, and Aboriginal education, which is basically we're overhauling the way that we were reporting and creating our district plans for the province. We're now working in collaboration, so now it's bringing together everybody. So tomorrow will be our 4th meeting, and tomorrow we actually hope to have a bit of a plan that we're able to share at the next admin meeting, so that the administrators will have some input into that. I was lucky to show up at Westwood School at the right time, and the kids were going out for the Terry Fox walk, so I invited myself to join a grade 3 class, so had a good conversation and a nice little walk with the grade 3s. I attended the grade 9 luncheon at Artie Parker on September 30th, and we probably had about 250 people attend that, so it was well attended. I also had a chance to cover a class with the during a Westwood Book Buddies, so a grade 2 with the grade 5 and 6 book buddies, and it's probably a good thing that I probably brushed up on some of my Halloween jokes, so that was entertaining. And tomorrow, the 12th and the 13th, the Red Cross, we had applied for a grant last year and received it, so we'll have some Red Cross Be Safe training, which is geared at ages 5 to 9. I had asked for two teachers or 2 counselors per school, and we'll have 12 participants tomorrow taking that training, and then on the 13th we have the Respect Education, which is on relationships, and that's junior high and up, and we have 8 teachers that will receive that training, and that's a train-the-trainer model, so they'll work with kids too.
Been around for a long time.
Yeah, so, and I have to thank my friend Don McCaskill at Frontier. He was the one that thought that would be really a good idea for us, because he's a Red Cross member, and helped us write the proposal, and we received the grant, so, yeah.
Awesome. Any questions for our Superintendent of Educational Services? Okay, thank you, Ms. Anderson. Secretary Treasurer Kelly Knott. Your turn.
Expenditures for September 2016. Accounts payable in the amount of $2,096,891.26 were processed. Teacher payroll in the amount of $2,179,861.43 were put through. And our support non-teach payroll in the amount of $478,909.20 have been processed. I'm seeking recommendation at this time that the above expenditures for September 2016 for the amount of $4,755,661.89 be approved.
Can I get a mover for that motion? Trustee Olivera, seconded by Trustee Lychuk. All in favor of the motion? Okay, opposed if any, the motion is carried. Okay, new business, it doesn't look like there is any. Trustee, 9.1, sorry, trustee travel. Trustee Lychuk would like to attend the National School Boards Association Conference in Denver, Colorado from March 25th to 27th, 2017. Recommendation that Trustee Lychuk be approved to attend the National School Boards Association Conference in Denver from March 25th to 27th, 2017. Can I get a mover for that motion? Trustee Land, seconder, Trustee McDonald. All in favor of that motion? Opposed if any, the motion is carried. Thank you. Correspondence. I don't think I have any correspondence. Doesn't look like it. Okay, committee reports. Policy committee, I believe you had a meeting last week. Oh, probably the weather maybe. Maybe we have.
We did have a meeting scheduled, it was the day of the power outage. Snow day. The schools were canceled.
Ah, yes.
We made an executive decision to postpone the meeting.
Sounds like a good idea. I was out of town, I missed all the excitement, the weather and everything else. Okay, Education and Programming Committee meeting, who's the chair of that anyway?
We do have meetings scheduled now for the year, and our first meeting will be on the 17th of October at 5.
Okay, thank you.
And then we have regular meetings after that scheduled.
Okay, that's a good idea, get them down on paper. Public Relations, I believe it's Ms. Fitzpatrick, she's not here, I haven't heard of anything,
We have a meeting scheduled for October 25th at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Finance, Property, Personnel,
Finance has met briefly and bring forward a recommendation for the borrowing bylaw
okay,
be introduced at the next meeting.
which will be introduced at our next meeting, okay? So then they're meeting every month, I believe anyways, right? Okay, that's it for meetings, trustee comments, okay? We'll start with Trustee Land and we'll work our way around.
Don't have any meeting updates from that perspective, but I have from my source in the room and behind the camera a few updates from the division. Junior volleyball this weekend here in town. citizenship ceremony. I don't know if anybody mentioned that yet, but it's at 1:15 at Westwood on this Friday. Senior boys, what's that?
I didn't usually get invited.
Yeah, normally it seems that it's out there a little more.
Tell us again, Ryan, how did it?
That was on Friday at 1:15 at Westwood, yeah?
Yes, I have just asked her to get some invitations.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
excellent.
We normally get an invitation. Okay. This
Senior
Friday.
boys won volleyball in Swan, and the senior girls were edged out in the finals in Swan, so congratulations to both teams.
Awesome,
Fine effort.
okay. That citizenship, is this coming Friday, trustee Land?
You're asking me a lot of questions. What I have is what someone passed to me, but yeah, it does say that it was this Friday, so
This
maybe
coming
don't
Friday.
quote me on that until you've seen it in writing
Okay.
from somebody else.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, we normally get invited. Trustee Lychuk.
Yeah, I just want to say I had an opportunity to attend an assembly last week at Riverside School, and it was actually nice to participate. The theme was around respect, and I guess I was pleased to see with the format, they actually did some exercises with the kids to teach them deep breathing exercises for anxiety, and I think when their emotions are kind of gearing up. So I was actually really pleased to see that and how the kids were participating. The other thing was that Principal Wombolt gave me a tour of the gymnasium, and I seen some of the upgrades in the school, which he thought that would be great for me to bring back to this table and say, but it is looking really well, really good. And I can definitely see that the gym is going to, with that expansion, I think they're going to be able to do a lot more in the gym. So, and the school's looking really good. So that's it for me.
Trustee McDonald.
I didn't go and do anything, but one of the things that I did do vicariously was just follow the volleyball through the RDPC Athletics Twitter account, and they do a really good job of that. I mean, I know they've been doing it for a while, but I just thought it was worth mentioning that they're putting out a lot of material, and it's good stuff, and you can follow along and get excited with what's going on. It's pretty good.
Thank you. Trustee Oliver. No comment. I don't have any myself. Okay. Any questions from the public pertaining to anything that's on the agenda? Okay, all you reporters out there? Okay. We're not as exciting as what's going on down south with the election campaign. Okay, so the meeting will be adjourned, and I'd like a motion to go in camera, please, that the board moves in camera in about 10 minutes' time. Okay, trustee Land, seconder, trustee Olivera, all in favor? Okay, motion is carried. Thank you.